And there we go. Okay, so let me set up our sharing here. Okay, you can see my computer screen. There we go. So, welcome to Psych 1100. Welcome to Lifespan Development. I am really happy that you are here. If you're joining live, thanks for making time for this. I'm glad it fit in your schedule. If you are making time to watch this later on today or this week, thank you for making time to watch this. So, we're just going to go over some information in the course and give you an overview. And then at the end, I'll have time for the folks who are joining me live to ask questions. If you are watching this recording, please send me an email if you have questions about the course after this. Happy to give you any information that would be helpful. Okay, so lifespan development. This is one of those really fundamental classes because we cover some really important concepts that are totally relevant to a broad range of fields. So, but first, a little bit about me. So I know some of you who are taking this course, I recognize you from taking general psychology with me a few years ago, but several of you I haven't met yet. So let me just tell you a little bit about me. So my name is Michelle Grimes, and I'm a clinical psychologist. My specialty is working with children and families. So I really like working with kids who have disruptive behavior problems. So kids who don't follow instructions, and kids who argue and fight and throw temper tantrums. I love working with those kids. The reason is because we've got some great treatments that can be very helpful for them. So I enjoy it. I also do neurodevelopmental assessments. So I assess kids for like intellectual disability and ADHD and autism and stuff like that. So I am originally from Alaska. I did my undergrad at the University of Oregon. I received a master's degree in psychology at the University of Alaska Anchorage. I received my PhD at Idaho State University. And just a quick discussion about this, you know, I remember really thinking long and hard about all the decisions when it came to, boy, am I gonna just enter the workforce with my bachelor's degree? Am I gonna go to grad school? Am I gonna get a master's degree or a PhD? If those are decisions that you are sort of contemplating and you're curious about your options in psychology, I'm always happy to chat about that because they're really big decisions. So anyway, I tried out every option. I worked for a while with my undergrad degree. I got my master's, worked for a while, and then went back and got my PhD. So I can tell you about the pros and cons of each decision. So I did my clinical internship at the University of Nebraska Medical Center. I did a postdoctoral fellowship at Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. And then I'm here at SUU. It's starting my 5th year. I cannot believe how fast time has gone. But so I say I'm here at SUU because I'm part of the broader SUU community. I'm not physically present on campus, which is why I teach fully online. So I'm actually physically located in Alaska. My family and I returned back to Alaska in the spring. But I am happy to be teaching online, and I very much want this to feel like a face-to-face class would. So even though I don't have a physical office in the general classroom building in room 308, I want you to feel very much like if you have a question, you could send me an email. We could set up a quick video chat. So my goal for this class is for you to have the same sense of quality of interaction that you would if I was face-to-face in the department teaching in the GC building. So that is the goal for the term. Okay, so is this course important? Well, yes, it's very important. The short answer in terms of why is because, you know, a lot happens between when we're very young and very old. A whole lot happens. And so we go through lots of very dramatic changes physically, cognitively, emotionally, and that's really what this course is going to cover. We're going to do basically a review of the entire lifespan and just a brief overview of the developmental changes that happen. So I do hope you all have this book, Experiencing the Lifespan by Janet Belsky. You do need to have the 5th edition of the book. Some folks have asked if previous editions would work, and honestly, I have not looked at previous editions of the book, so I don't know how similar or different they would be. That's a totally fair question to ask, because sometimes books change very little between editions. For this book, I really don't know how different the previous version is. To be on the safe side, I would definitely make sure you have access to the 5th edition, because that is where the course content is going to come from in terms of quiz questions and exam questions, things like that. Okay, so in terms of the course format, we're going to cover about a chapter a week. That is going to include lecture slides, and I'm going to post lecture slides each week, just like PowerPoint slides that you would normally get. Now, this is intended to guide your study. It's not intended to replace your own notes. I think the best way because we're, in this online format, I think the best thing that you could do is read the chapter, make your own notes, and then look at my notes to see how similar they are, to see if you could practice reviewing the material based on my notes alone, to see how familiar my notes are. Just a few examples of how you could use those. I'm going to try and schedule a live lecture each week. This is going to be brief. It'll only be about maybe 20 minutes or so. And it's just going to cover a concept from the book, from the chapter for that week. It'll give you a chance to ask questions. I will definitely record those and post them to Canvas. It's not an expectation that you attend the live lecture. It's just available for you if you want a sense of sort of face-to-face, what they call synchronous communication. So, but if you prefer, or if you're not able to attend the live lecture, you can certainly watch later on. I will always post the recordings to Canvas, so perfectly fine to do that. I will post at the beginning of the week, like on Sunday or Monday, when that live lecture will happen. And so I'm going to probably vary the time. So sometimes it'll be in the morning, sometimes it'll be in the afternoon, maybe sometimes it'll be in the evening, because I want to make sure students who want to attend have an opportunity. So I won't have it at the same day and time every week. Okay, and I'll have additional question and answer sessions as needed. So that is going to depend on availability. It's going to depend on interest. So, but I'm definitely up for that. So let's see here. I am going to let's see if I can get this chat active again. Well, one moment. The one thing that I don't seem to be able to do is chat while I have the PowerPoint active, and that is a real bummer, because as you can imagine, when I am talking, I'm very curious about if you guys have questions or if you can hear okay, and all that kind of stuff. So let me see where this chat is. Hold on one moment. Oh, sorry, you can see my computer screen here. Chat. My chat has like totally disappeared. Someone see if they can type a question in the chat for me. Ah, there it is. Okay. So, okay, so is everything okay so far? Do you guys have any questions? I can see your chat now. Okay, I don't see any questions popping up yet. I'm going to keep going, but I'll check back in a minute. All right, so let's keep moving on. Okay, so here we go. So course requirements, let's talk about that. So there will be chapter quizzes. Every week you're at the end of the chapter, after we've completed our review, done, you've read it, you've participated or watched the live lecture, you've taken your notes, you feel like you learned the material well, you will complete a brief chapter quiz by 11:59 p.m. on Saturday night. You can take the quiz anytime, but it will close at 11:59 p.m. on Saturday. So literally you have until the very end of the week to do it. These are not intended to be difficult quizzes. They're meant to just assess your learning. It's either going to be 5 one-point questions or 10 half-point questions. They're just worth 5 points. There will be some discussion boards. The topics are going to vary, so they'll be announced from week to week. And this is your chance to interact with each other. So I really encourage you to be thoughtful about how you respond to those discussion boards. I'm going to really try to find interesting topics. I am not a fan of forced communication. And so I am going to try and find things that you're genuinely motivated to interact with your peers about and discuss. I know that discussion boards don't totally replace the dynamic of like live group discussions, but for an online class, I think they're the sort of the best software that we have right now, so we will make the best of it, and we'll just see how it goes. But just be thoughtful about, when you do reply to discussion boards, make them meaningful instead of just, I agree, sounds good, I disagree. Think about bringing something a little more meaty to the table with your discussion boards in terms of, comment in a way that will encourage other people to have a dialogue. So anyway, I'll be in there with you guys too. So our first discussion boards this week, it's an easy breezy one though. All right, exams. There will be 3 exams during the semester. They're not cumulative. That's usually the first question people ask is, are there any cumulative exams? And they're not. We've got an exam over the first third of the material. We have an exam over the second third of the material. We have an exam over the final third of the material. Even though that last exam is during finals week, it's not cumulative. So it's only over the content that we have covered in that section. Okay, there's 3 main assignments outside of the chapter quizzes and the discussion boards. And so there'll be an observation paper. So you're going to observe a child in a public setting. There's a reflection paper. You'll briefly describe developmental changes that you have noticed between adolescence and now. And that'll be focusing on like cognitive development or socio-emotional development. And then there's going to be a media project. So looking at how the media portrays individuals that are in midlife or older life and how that contrasts with what we actually know about those developmental periods. So there's going to be many more details about those that are posted on Canvas. The first assignment you'll receive more information on is that observation paper because it does come up in the next few weeks, but then you'll get much more information on the reflection paper and the media project following. So let's talk a little bit about how to be successful. So this is an online class. We don't have regularly scheduled meetings like you would in a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or a Tuesday, Thursday class. So please keep in touch, okay? If you get an email message from me or a Canvas announcement, please read it. Please read it because it's not like in a on-campus class. If you don't read an email I send, I'll maybe see you in class or see you in the hallway and I can share the information with you. I can't do that in an online class. The only way I can send an announcement is through email or Canvas, like the Canvas announcement features. And so please make sure that you take a chance, that you take the time when you get a chance, that's what I meant to say, and read those emails because they're going to have information that's highly relevant. Also, review information that's posted on Canvas. So assignment descriptions, the syllabus, any document on Canvas I upload because I feel like it's something that is going to be helpful for you to know. Keep track of deadlines, so make sure that you're starting assignments early, that you're ready with the pacing of the course. And of course, reach out if you have questions or if you need assistance. So we can always schedule a video meeting like this, a phone call, a Canvas chat, whatever, right? I'm happy to help, so please reach out if you have questions. Do put the course number in the title of your email. So just PSY 1100, and that way it'll very quickly orient me to what your question is on, or what your question is relevant to. Plan ahead, so start assignments early. I don't tend to accept late work just because I have I teach 5 classes, and so there's a lot of students in each of my classes. And so just as a rule, unless it's an emergency or a very unique situation, I don't accept late work. And given that this is an online class, also it's just worth mentioning the assumption is that your technology is working well. And so lapses in Canvas or things like that are not typically excuses for late assignments unless there's like a campus-wide Canvas outage that the IT department can verify. That doesn't mean that lapses in Canvas don't happen, and I totally understand, but just make sure that you submit assignments right before the deadline, so you've got a little time to troubleshoot in case something goes awry. Or email me an assignment if you have trouble uploading it on Canvas. As long as I receive it by the deadline, that's fine. So always try and submit your work through Canvas, but if you're having an issue, don't turn it in late, email it to me, or gosh, I don't know. I think those would probably both work. If that failed, go to the psych department and let them know you're trying to submit an assignment and you cannot, and they will verify that you attempted. But essentially, these forms of technology work well. I don't anticipate we're going to have trouble with that at all. So, but do talk with the SUU Help Center if you're having any trouble with Canvas, or reach out to me. I can try and assist. Okay, how to be successful? Read the book. It is really helpful, I promise. Now, I have been teaching, like I said, this is my 5th year. I have yet to come across a student who enjoys reading textbooks in their spare time. Right? That's just not something that most of us like to do. I don't like to do it in my spare time because, textbooks are not as interesting as other forms of media, right? That said, they're highly important because they contain really critical information to the course. And so it's important to make time to read. So the way that I do this, what I recommend, and you'll find a system that works for you, but I recommend you schedule time to read every day. It is really hard to find 2 hours in your day to read. At least it is for me. So what I find is helpful is to schedule time to read just a little bit every day. So for example, if you read 15 minutes a day, that's an hour and a half of reading every week. These chapters in this book are brief, so I don't think it would take you an hour and a half to read. But 15 minutes a day, you'll read the chapter no problem and have extra time for review. Also participate, so be actively engaged, make positive contributions to the class. That's just going to help us have a better online class experience. And think about how you can make the information in this class personally meaningful. So how can you get what you need out of this class? And I'm happy to help you do that. So what is it you want to learn? How can this class help you either in your degree program or in your future career plans, right? Like, make this personally meaningful. And that is going to make your experience in the class even better. So for this week, read chapter 1 and part of chapter 2. I've put the page numbers of chapter 2 in the syllabus. It's brief. Take notes. So take notes on what you read and just develop your own note-taking style. For this week, we have a syllabus quiz. So after you watch this presentation and read the syllabus, this afternoon I'll open that syllabus quiz. It just helps me know that you understand sort of the course agreement, and it's an easy 10 points. Also, take the SUU attendance quiz. I'm sure you've heard about that in all of your classes by now, but that's something that the university asked us to post, so please take the SUU attendance quiz. It doesn't count for points in the class, but it's important data for them. And then we have a discussion board for this week. It's just a getting to know you discussion board. So again, easy points, right? Super easy points. Starting next week, our chapter quizzes will start. Okay, so starting with next week's reading, by the end of the week, you will complete a chapter quiz on the material. And then I'll have a live lecture next week. The date and time are going to be to be determined. And when I end the presentation today, I'll ask for some feedback about what days and what times will be good. Like I said, I'm going to try and mix it up because it's certainly not a requirement that you attend the live meetings, but I want to make sure that I offer lots of different times throughout the semester, just so students who want to participate can. Okay, so I'm going to turn off my sharing here, and I'm going to unmute everyone. Let's see. Okay, so I've unmuted everyone. So do you have any questions about the course structure? We're still recording, so any question, please do ask any questions you have about the course structure, because I guarantee someone else will have the same question. So any questions? You can type it or say it. Could you hear me okay while we were doing the presentation? Okay, good. Yes. Okay, very good. Okay. Well,
So
oh yeah, please.
for the exams, are they going to be just on Canvas or will we have to go to the testing center?
Ah, excellent question. Thank you. And I'm sorry that I did not mention that earlier. The exams will all be online. So the exams will be online, they'll be timed. If you are a student that has time extension accommodations, then I'm, of course, will work with you to make sure that you receive those accommodations. But yes, the exams will be fully online. You don't need to travel to the testing center, and they will be timed. Yeah,
Okay.
great question. So you don't need to buy a Scantron for this class. That's a good thing, right? Okay. All right. Hello, we have someone who just joined. We're just doing a little Q&A about the class right now. Did anybody else have any questions about what we went over in the live presentation? Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to end our recording, and then I'm going to end our recording,